What is up, my fellow viewers? I am Crunch Gamer, and welcome back to the Expedition Development Series. Today is episode 3. If you saw my community tab, you would know that this episode is going to be plants, animals, and other organisms. Today, I will cover a total of 12 organisms, 7 animals, 2 plants, 1 neozoid, 1 fungus, and 1 protist. But before we get into that, let's go over what features of the organisms I'm going to be going over today. We'll go over each organism's track, aggression, danger level, size, habitat, health, weaknesses and resistances, attacks, damage types, inflictions, harvests, appearance, normal behavior, interaction with the player, interaction with other animals, uses, strategy, database entry, and survival info. Now, I'm sure just looking at this list you're already having a heart attack, but don't worry, the description of all these features should go by pretty quickly. Let's start with track, short for soundtrack. This is any soundtrack related to the organism. Usually it has to do with when you're fighting it, but there are a select few exceptions. Aggression is how aggressive the organism is, specifically animals, towards the player. They can attack on sight, which is called aggressive, or they can attack under certain circumstances, which is called dependent, or they don't attack at all, which is called passive. With Dom aggressivium being in literally every animal you see, you'd be surprised at how many dependent and passive animals there are too. Anyways, next is size, also only for animals, which determines what kind of damage types the animal can receive. If an animal is normal sized, you can damage it with any weapon. If an animal is small, it can only be damaged under certain circumstances. If an animal is tiny, it can only be damaged by gas. Habitat is where an organism lives. It's as simple as that. Health is also just as self-explanatory. Weaknesses and resistances are actually something that only one animal has, for now. They basically give a percentage of how much an animal resists or doesn't resist a certain damage type. If it is resistant to the damage type, it takes less damage from that damage type. If it is weak to that damage type, it takes more damage from that damage type. I am saying damage type way too much. Attacks, or damage outputs for future non-animals, are, well, the organism's set of attacks or damage outputs. Again, pretty self-explanatory. Damage types are, well, the type of damage that an organism's attack is. How shocking. Inflictions are status conditions that can be, well, inflicted onto the player. Inflictions are always bad, at least for the player. Harvests are exclusive to plants, for now, and are the resources you can obtain from them. Appearance is its general appearance. Normal behavior is exclusive to animals and is how the animal normally behaves throughout its day-to-day life. Interaction with other animals is exclusive to animals and is pretty self-explanatory. Same thing with interaction with the player. Uses are the organism's use toward the player. Sometimes it will be the resources that it provides for the player, or sometimes it can be other things like having it deter aggressive animals for you. Typically, animals don't have practical uses, but in a future update, every animal will have use. Well, almost every animal. Strategy is the best way, in my imagination, of how to defeat an animal. The database entry is the in-game entry for the animal. Most of these profiles were created by Bioplanet. However, a few of them were created by Ark. Who is Ark? Well, they're actually the rows from episode 2 that I talked about. By the way, Ark stands for Association of Recreation. Anyways, the database entry also covers, or usually covers, organisms' lore and the organism's standout features, history, and other things. Survival info was created by Ark to give their followers tips on how to deal with each organism. It can cover how to deal with them attacking you or how to exploit them for survival. If the organism does not have a use, it will simply say useless. But anyways, now that that's all out of the way, let's finally get into the list of organisms.